What's up, everyone? It's Josh Moore, owner of Alpha Evolution Fitness and Training here in Newark, Ohio, home of the baddest gym in town. If you're not a part of it, you should be. So, I just got done watching this video today on YouTube while eating some lunch with my son before he goes back to school this week, and in it, they talk about, truths in life and why they walk around with a chip on their shoulder. And it struck a nerve. It got me thinking, why do I walk around with a chip on my shoulder? I don't. Ask anyone who knows me. I don't walk around with a chip on my shoulder. No. I walk around with the whole fucking bag. You see, my whole life I've been collecting chips and just tossing them into my memory bank and just store them inside of an invisible bag to fuel the fire to motivate me. Any negative thing that's ever been said to me in life, I store it. Anytime I've been told I couldn't do something, stored it. Any negative experience in life, stored it. So let's get down to some truths, and I'll tell you why I carry these. So let's get going. Since day one of my life, I've been kicked in the teeth. And that's not an excuse, it's not a crutch, that's a truth. 2 days old, my mom notices there's something wrong with me, alerts the doctors. They tell her, no ma'am, you're just a young mom, it's fine, there's nothing to be alarmed about. Another doctor comes in and realizes, oh shit, something's wrong. Let's get into Children's. Rush me to Children's, saved my life. Another day, and you wouldn't be looking at me. First chip. My whole life I grew up in a house where money wasn't a thing. My mom was a waitress, my dad was a painter. Money literally wasn't an option. I told you in another video, I got my first job mowing grass at 9 years old so I could buy shoes. There's another chip. I grew up where playtime at my house was my dad getting drunk and whooping my ass at 9 years old. Another chip. I grew up where my mom and dad were constantly separating. Eventually they divorced. I come from a broken home. Another chip. I can still remember my 6th grade teacher telling me I wouldn't amount to shit. Thanks, Miss Britton. Another chip. You're looking at the face of a dude who took geometry 3 times in high school because I had no guidance. The same face of a dude who dropped out of high school. Another chip. You're looking at the face of a dude who has been homeless twice. The first time being right after I dropped out of high school. 18 years old, middle of winter, with his girlfriend living with him. No job, nowhere to go. Another chip. You're looking at the face of a dude who decided to go back to college and make something of himself there. Got kicked out for being sick. Another chip. I've done things in life that I'm not proud of. I attempted to kill myself at a young age, 20 years old, because me and my wife had split up and I was young and stupid, didn't know how to handle my first real breakup. Truth. I started a gym with $4 in my name. And yeah, I had a financial backer. Everyone knows that truth. But while everyone's talking shit, they should know that the money I borrowed didn't go very far when they charge you a double deposit in the first month's rent. Truth. I've been told that I wouldn't last more than 4 months in business. 16 months later. Truth. And I still got other businesses chirping, talking. But truth be told, I love it. Because it motivates me. It puts a little fuel to my already glowing fire. Because eventually, I want to put them out of business. Truth. Truth is, I walk around with a chip on my shoulder and this mean mug on my face because I don't want my kids to go through the same shit that I went through in life. I don't want my kids to grow up in a separated home. I don't want my kids to worry about money. I don't want my kids to drop out of high school. I don't want them to get kicked out of college. Truth. Truth is, I want better for not only my family, myself, but for everyone I come across. That's why I stand in front of a camera shy as fuck. Truth. A lot of people think I just like talking. Not really. A lot of people think I like being the center of attention. That's why I don't like being in front of a camera. But the truth is, I know I was given an ability to push people, to motivate. So truth be told, I'm coming out of my shell in order to help every one of you watching this. to figure out what is the chip on your shoulder, to figure out what's the truth in your life, to figure out what you want out of life. So if you're staring at this and you're thinking right now, what is my truth? What do I want out of life? Where's my chip on the shoulder? Dig down and find it. There's something in everyone that will relate and translate to a chip on your shoulder. You just have to figure out what it is. And when you do, use that shit. Use it to your advantage. You know, people think if you got a chip on your shoulder, you have a bad attitude. No. You have a chip on your shoulder, and if you use it for good, it's a great thing. So what's your truths? Find them, figure it out, and use it. I'm Josh Moore, owner of Alpha Evolution Fitness and Training here in Newark, Ohio, home of the baddest gym in town.